Since 2016, when Donald Trump announced his goal to be the president of the United States, I've seen a lot of black conservative channels come to light. And I'll mention a few of them right here. Anthony Brian Logan is one. I saw Brandon Tatum blow up from when he had 700 subscribers. And then there's also Candace Owens, who is our subject for today's video. Now, out of the other two YouTubers that I've named, Candace Owens tends to be more viral and more known around the United States, especially in conservative politics. And she usually is against like reparations, things like that, telling blacks to pull up their bootstraps, that racism isn't a problem. But I believe that she's going to be a victim of racism in today's episode, right within her own conservative camp. And Mr. Steven Crowder is going to attempt to throw her under the bus. And I believe that he tried to do so because Candace Owens is black. But let's kind of go ahead and rewind, Dima. So what happened was, before we get into the video today, Mr. Steven Crowder, who was a huge YouTuber and conservative YouTuber, was offered a deal from the Daily Wire. The Daily Wire is the same network that Candace Owens is affiliated with. He wanted $50 million. And of course, they offered him $50 million rather, and he rejected it. So after rejecting it, he went and called, people at the Daily Wire like slaves. You're working for slave wages and things like that. And then attacked Candace Owens, right? And a lot of folks overall on their staff. But once Mr. Steven Crowder announced that his wife and him were being separated, are no longer married, he's going to say that Candace Owens is the conservative that was trying to blackmail him by releasing this particular statement.
They also knew that the safety of my children included keeping it private. So if you're familiar with the idea of extortion, then you know the feeling well. Now, some of these threats were so thinly veiled that I'm frankly surprised you didn't all guess immediately.
Steven has a lot going on, I guess is the best way to say it. He has a lot going on, and that should be clear because people don't do stuff like this if there's not a lot going on in their lives. I would like to implore my audience and everybody that isn't paying attention to this situation not to condemn him, but to pray for him. Sometimes people need a prayer. Sometimes people need a scripture. Steven purports to be a Christian. I am unsure at this moment if it is my place to say more than that. Maybe if I feel in further defense, some things should be said, or maybe if I feel that the public has a right to understand certain circumstances.
Well, my children have a right to privacy. Now, some other issues have been, or I should say, inferences have been more pernicious behind the scenes with demands and threats to use this information that they believe would be so publicly embarrassing to me and my wife at a difficult time that it could be used, knowingly putting my children in harm's way. So to those self-styled Christians, conservatives, and allies, well, not in my book.
So you see that he's acting right there. I thought the guy was being truthful when I first saw it, but he definitely is acting. You see, he's trying to implicate that Candace Owens is making this threatening allegation against him because, she wants to put his kids at risk. So what he's trying to do is turn his audience against Candace Owens, who in this particular case did nothing wrong. And I'm always, for the most part, against Candace Owens' commentary, but she did nothing wrong. You see, Steven Crowder understands if he's going to pick on somebody to give an example of who to pick on, he's going to use an easy target, or so he thinks. He picks on the black lady, the black woman, to go ahead and say, out of all conservatives who try to throw me under the bus, let me pick on the black lady because she has absolutely no power. And then I can say and use my audience that Candace Owens, who's with the Daily Wire, who doesn't own the Daily Wire, but let me use her to do my stuff with. Let me use her as a temperature check to see if this works, to get everybody on her. And if she comes back after me, well, she's black, they're not going to take her side. They'll take my side. That's what he's trying to do. And this is exactly why he never went after anybody else in the conservative party at all, or conservative political channels. He went after her on purpose because she is black. That's what I believe, right? But then Candace Owens claps back. Play that clip.
So first up, let's talk about Steven Crowder. A lot of you guys have probably seen his live stream this morning where he brings me up. So we're going to have to respond to that, obviously, because he makes some pretty heavy implications and insinuations in his video that are so patently false that it's shocking to me that a man with his following would be stupid enough to put this onto a platform.
And he is stupid. He's definitely stupid because he underestimated her. Now, let me just say this. In his first video, he talks about that his wife wanted to leave him. He talks about that he chose the wrong woman. His wife didn't want to stay married to him. And what he figures is that Candace Owens, if she comes up with a rebuttal, conservatives won't believe her because of her position. She's a black woman married to a white man. So if he's going to get into a war with somebody, surely getting in a war with her is, he's expecting that white people on the conservative side will choose him over her if there's a war. It's an easy way to attack the Daily Wire by using her as a proxy. But then Candace Owens releases this footage. Play that clip.
So a bit of breaking news that just happened. And before we get to it, I just want to back up and tell you why we are discussing this breaking news, because it's occurred to me that there are some people out there who believe that to be a conservative, what it means is that we become tribal and we defend other conservatives even when they do things that are wrong, that we don't discuss things that are horrible on our own side because we need to just make sure that we score wins in other ways, and that is wrong. That to me is the exact opposite of why I have this platform. I am not tribal. I want to expose things when they are bad on the left, and I will also expose things when they are bad on the right. Obviously, I have been interested in the Steven Crowder saga pertaining to his divorce because he literally inserted me into his divorce a couple of days ago. And his wife and family are now speaking out regarding that video in which he told people publicly that his wife was leaving him. You remember this, he chose wrong. And he essentially made it sound as if he did not want his marriage to end, but his wife simply wanted to leave. Well, she has responded by giving video, and I want to prep you. I want you to know this is horrific video. It is very difficult to watch. It's especially difficult to watch because in this footage, she is 8 months pregnant. And the video essentially reveals just how emotionally abusive he has been. And she is alleging that he has been emotionally abusive to her. And this video all but confirms it. So let's first get to the footage. I'm just going to allow you to watch it in its entirety.
I drew a boundary. I drew a boundary. No, you just did it. I drew a boundary in abusive and cruel. You were not taking the car. Because if you refuse to do wifely things, then I will go pick up the groceries.
There is no groceries today. I would have
steaks, wood pellets, my grill. I know it's an unreasonable request, but I'll go do it. How about you first? Hillary, how do you respect the man? Yes, how do you man? How do you man? Receive love and respect. Respect. No. How do you man? No, you're not taking the car.
Steven,
you're not taking the car.
Steven.
You are not.
Then I will ask someone to pick me up. Would you like me to ask?
Oh, that's right.
It's not correct, Steven.
Get an Uber.
Okay, Steven, I can't.
Feeling some constraints?
Steven.
Like, I can't
Steven.
go. Listen to me. You want to walk out right now? Listen to me. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to my parents. I can't call my friends. I can't be home. You're going to take the car and leave me here. Hillary, just think of how boxed in you've made me.
What do you need me to pick up? I'll get it. I'll be back when I'm back.
No, that doesn't work either. You'll be back when you're back. That doesn't work either. Do you understand the difference between my life being set to the second and you going, I'll be back when I'm back?
Steven.
And making it work. The only way out of it is discipline and respect. It's the only way out of it, or we're at an impasse.
We are at an impasse.
Good. Because you can't have any discipline or respect.
Steven.
There you go. You throw your hand, you give up so easily.
I don't give up, Steven.
Hillary, you give up so easily. I just said the only way out of this is discipline and respect. You said, then we're at an impasse.
Steven, no, we are at an impasse, okay? I love you, but Steven, your abuse is sick. Your abuse
Watch it.
is sick.
Watch it. Watch it.
I'm gonna let go. I'll get what you need me to get. And I need some space. We need to just stop engaging for a little bit, okay? I love you. I love you very much.
I don't love you. That's the big problem. I've never received love from you. And the fact is, when I go, look, I need you to do A, B, C, and D, you just be disciplined about it. You go, no. But I love you more than life itself. Okay.
Put on some gloves. No. But I love you more than life itself. That's not fair. That's not fair, and it's disingenuous. Hillary, you're right then, Bess. Become someone that's unique, day in and day out, worthy of a wife. No, not as a wife. I didn't say as a wife. Hillary, come on now.
I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to engage anymore. I'm going to go. I'll text me what you need. I'll get you what you need. I love you. I'm committed to you.
Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm not going to.
Are you committed enough to do those things? You're not committed to anything. You're not committed to anything. You just said I love you. I'm committed to you. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things? Are you committed enough to do those things?
I'm gonna just
walk the dogs. Put on some gloves. Are you committed enough to get the medication the dogs take? No, you take Betty.
So that is both heartbreaking and infuriating for me to watch. I cannot even comprehend how any man can speak to a woman like that, least of all when she is 8 months pregnant. And sadly, that isn't the worst part of that correspondence.
You see, what Steven Crowder thought was, okay, let me throw the black lady under the bus and she'll come back and try to retort against me, but it'll just be her words against mine, and then there's no proof. And I can try to scathe her by saying, like, listen, she was trying to threaten me, threaten my family, all of this. But you didn't expect to have your footage of you being abusive to your white pregnant wife, because he never thought that Candace Owens would pull that out. But see, that's the whole situation, because see, if Candace Owens would have ever came after him with the evidence like that, he believes that, hey, look, she'll be out. Look what happened with Don Lemon. We talked about white people or the white conservative lady. So he was trying to use racism, in my honest opinion. I know you guys think I'm crazy, but this is what I believe. He picked on her specifically. But see, what he didn't think is that Candace Owens is going to use his own white wife. And now he's putting it out there that it's you being rude to your own white pregnant wife. Now, Candace Owens is the one that's delivering the information. You see? But that is how subtle racism works. Steven Crowder was picking on her at first because she was an easy target. This is the reason why I try to tell brothers and sisters, right? You got to develop your own stuff. When you integrate into things as a black conservative or a black Democrat within things like this, you think that you're covered on one side, but these people still will use you as a scapegoat, and they will try things with you they won't try with their own white people. But he underestimated her, and now he's getting thrashed all over the media for being an abusive husband to a white pregnant woman. And that's something he never expected that Candace Owens would do. But just goes to show you, sometimes you underestimate folks. Steven, not a good look. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Junk. Appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe, hit the bell. We're out.